Okay, welcome everyone. This is the Monitor APM weekly meeting for November 20th. So first thing on the agenda is from Miguel, but he's not going to be here. It's the middle of the night for him. But he was asking about if we should start adopting the GraphQL. So he had one use case around data that we fetch. I don't know if anyone has more context on some of the GraphQL effort that's going on.
I think Sean Arnold had opened an MR to create a GraphQL API for error tracking. So I think that was the start of GraphQL in monitor stage.
Okay. I know there's and I think in this issue that Miguel has linked here, it links to another, I'm trying to remember where it is, but there's a documentation update for GraphQL that's in progress right now as well for if anyone wants more background on it. I don't know, Dove, you had a comment, I think.
I don't remember commenting that.
Oh, maybe Miguel commented and was just asking you about it. If we want to release APIs using GraphQL to the community.
To the community?
No, I think he means APIs created using GraphQL are available for API consumption, as in it's not just meant for front end to call back end.
Oh, okay. Jose's nodding. So yes, okay. So that's a consideration that if we switch to that, then we're exposing those APIs. Is that what you're saying, Ruben?
Yeah. So it's kind of like a benefit to the community as well. Of course, you have to sorry, go ahead.
Which is a good thing, I think. But if we expose them, then we'll probably need to document them. And if we are breaking the APIs, we should also communicate it to them. Possibly also measure if someone is using that, if it's possible. But I mean, that's details that we can handle and we can approach. But that's my point of view here. I'm supportive on this effort, basically.
So if we do create a GraphQL API for environments, we'll have to sort of create it alongside the existing API, because the existing API is used in a lot of places, and until we switch to using the GraphQL API completely, we won't be able to remove the existing API.
Yeah, but I guess every new API that we will have will be based on GraphQL, right? I mean, we won't have like a new. If we'll need to add a new API, we will need to have them, like, we need to develop two of them.
Sorry, I didn't get the last bit.
If we'll need to create a new API, will it need to be duplicated as well, or is only for GraphQL? Or will it be only for GraphQL? That's the question.
You mean if we create a new API without GraphQL?
A new API, no, if you're creating a new API, you said that we need to maintain both versions, the GraphQL and what we're using today.
Yeah.
And the question is, let's say that we develop now a new API. It needs to be GraphQL only, right? There is no need for us to develop it twice.
Yeah.
In terms of maintain, I understand that we will need to maintain both of them if we are using, in some parts of the product GraphQL and some parts of the product. I understand it, but this is the way everyone works when they are moving to a new technology.
Yeah. I wasn't providing sort of a negative point. I'm for creating the GraphQL API.
Okay, good.
Okay. So there's more information in that issue that's linked, so people can continue discussion there if needed as well.
Do you have Sorry, just one last quick question. Do you have a sense on how big of an effort that is from a backend perspective? Like, are we talking a couple releases, one release? I'm not sure what that process would entail backend wise. That's open to anyone, not anyone in particular.
So I think it'll be a slightly large task, but I can't really say whether it's completable in one release or two, because if you look at Sean's MR, it's pretty large, and the environment's API itself is quite large. It does a lot of things. So yeah, I think it'll be a one of the larger tasks.
A sizable effort. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thanks. Okay. All right, moving on. So we're getting close to being able to release this instance administration project. I feel like we've been working on it for months now. But the last step is planned for this milestone, which is to add a button so a user can actually install the project. Ruben, correct me if I'm wrong, but once the project will get installed, but then it'll be mostly empty. Is that true?
Yeah, it'll be mostly empty, but I think the task to create a dashboard, I think it's scheduled for the next milestone, I think. So
yeah, yep. So that's what I linked here then. I think this is the same one. So I wanted to start planning that issue so we can figure out what.
I think it's in this milestone, right? Sorry, I was on mute. The one for adding, or is it for the next one?
it says
adding the button is for this release.
It's for this release, right?
The button is for this release. The
button is this release. The dashboard
is
for the next release.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one that I linked in the agenda that's for 12.7. That's the title is Configure Self-Monitoring Project to Display Instance Metrics.
Yeah, that's the same one.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I was thinking. I don't know if there's another issue you were thinking.
Yeah, I moved it yesterday to 12.7. It was 12.6, and when I saw the amount of issues piled up, I started moving things around.
Sure.
And, yeah.
So wherever it lands, what I wanted to bring up is that we should start thinking about what actual metrics we want to capture and put into this project. I don't know if we need to, if we want to work with the infrastructure team, if we just know ourselves what we want to do.
I think we can work on the infrastructure to I think. Yeah, go ahead, David.
I was going to say, would we start just pulling things from dashboards that get lab.net? And I mean, maybe not everything. It's a ginormous page there, but yeah, infrastructure. I think you're right. Infrastructure got some good input on that. I think they've got common things towards the top and dashboards though.
Yeah, I really don't want this to open this discussion with them to, hey, we'll do whatever dashboard you want us, because it will be like a never-ending task. So I think, Matt, you're in this scalability working group, right? I mean,
yep.
I think this is a valid point to raise there.
Okay. Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit, so I can bring it up there again. That's fine.
Maybe point them to the issue. Maybe point them to the issue so they will add their comments in the issue and it will be visible to all of us.
Okay.
There's another discussion about, I think it's in 12.7, about an Ingress Nginx dashboard that was asked by, I think it was in the Slack channel. I think, David, you're in this discussion, right? If you remember last week.
Yeah, I remember something about an Ingress deal. I know you and I talked about it a bit.
And yeah, I can try to find the issue and add it to the discussion. Maybe we can combine this effort.
I think Ingress. I think our Prometheus has already got the ingress metrics in it. We just had to make some graphs for them.
Yeah, Prometheus got the ingress. I'm not sure that we are using the ingress exporter.
We
We
don't
don't,
need it.
right?
We don't need it.
Why? We don't need? Because why? Because the Kubernetes exposed it.
I think it's, well, okay. I don't, I think that it's, Prometheus is already scraping that thing. Yeah, I mean, it's, anyway, it's unclear to me why we would need the exporter for things that, I mean, we're already capturing a bunch of metrics out of Ingress, it seems. So I don't know what extra metrics the exporter things, but grabs, but yeah, we do have.
If we are capturing, if we are capturing enough metrics, we don't need to use the exporter. The exporters are meant for metrics that we are not capturing or we are not instrumenting the app. So the three metrics that we collect for Nginx are error rate, throughput, and latency. I think those three, and I think this is a good start. And we should see if there are like critical metrics that we should add to them. But let's start with it, because this is what we have today.
Right, and just for some background too, at least Dov and I at one point, I think, talked about this, that we want to be responsible kind of for the framework of how to add metrics. Maybe we can add the first couple ourselves, and then the idea would be that infrastructure, some of these support teams or someone could go in and add other metrics, charts that they find useful, that they don't have to rely on us to keep doing that. Is that what we talked about, Dov?
Yes, that's a good point. Thank you for raising that. So, I mean, in the long term, we don't need to handholding the infrastructure team, and this entire project of self-monitoring will need eventually to land in the infrastructure team. So it will not be maintained by us forever. What we would like to achieve eventually is to provide the team with enough tools for them to add their own metrics, to create their own alerts, and create their own dashboard. Once we'll get it into a minimal state, maybe minimal is enough, then we can hand it over to the infrastructure team. So we don't need only to focus on how we can provide more value in terms of more metrics and more dashboard. Let's do the minimum, yes, but let's think about how we can provide them with the ability to do that by themselves, and let's then hand it over to the team.
Okay, thanks. So the next thing on the agenda that I had was, I was just looking over the retrospective for 12.5, and I noticed that I don't think anyone on our team has put anything. So just a friendly reminder to think about that, add things if you have any items, so we can make sure we have some valuable feedback from across the team. Okay.
Yes, it's important. I'll add some notes then for that issue.
I also have some, but I want to make sure that we get more and more feedback. The more, the better. So. Okay.
One more point I forgot to mention about the previous
issue. Sorry.
Around the creation of self-monitoring without the dashboard. Is there any use for creating the empty project, or will it be behind feature flag until we will add metrics to the dashboard?
We could put it behind a feature flag. I wasn't planning to, but it's not a problem to do it.
I'm just asking if there is any use for creating this without. So I guess putting it behind feature flag until we get something.
Yeah, it might be. It might be good to do that, because the project won't help with anything until we actually add it.
It's a button that doesn't do anything besides create an empty project. So
yeah. Okay, I'll put it behind a feature flag, and we can enable it next release when we add the custom dashboard.
Okay. So then, Dov, you had the next issue about issues that are automatically removed.
Yeah, so I mean, it appears that I don't remember that happened in the previous release, but it appears that all the issues that did not close on the 18 moved automatically to 12.6. At least they were labeled like missed automatic, so they moved automatically. At least they were labeled missed on 12.5, so we don't need to go and label them. But the problem here that I don't have weights on those, so I'm not sure on which status they're at. I assume that the ones that are in review are probably already complete or near complete, but there are some that are already in development, and I really don't know how to handle the amount of issues that we have now in this coming version. So I guess the question is, what do you think we should do, and maybe how can we avoid it for the next release? Should we schedule less issues? I mean, I need your feedback.
I think perhaps scheduling less issues is an option. Like, just because I'm on both health and APM, it still seems like there's a lot more issues scheduled in APM than there are in health at a given milestone. Like, I think there's probably only like 10 issues scheduled for health at a given milestone. So it's like a lot smaller. And I think, I don't remember how many we were at. I think it was more like 20 or 30 or something. So maybe, or maybe it's less. I can't remember the exact number you ended up with, but it always feels like there's less scheduled. It's like more realistic in terms of what's actually going to get done. Perhaps less ambitious, but I think that even with the smaller list of issues, they still have issues that don't get done. So but I guess they have fewer of them.
Yeah, it's also a question of the amount of engineers that are working on the issues. But yeah, I'll take this into consideration as we are scheduling the 12.7, and also maybe do some additional work on 12.6 to reduce even more the issues that are scheduled in this current milestone.
Okay. Move on to the pod log.
Yeah. So we got the approval. So I don't know if you know, but up until now, still, podlog feature is in Ultimate, and we got the okay to move it to core. I'm not sure if this team will be responsible for that. I would like to understand the effort estimation here, but right now the config team is scheduled to work on that. It may take them like a milestone or two. Depends on the effort. I don't mind waiting for like another milestone, but it means two things. So first of all, I want to make sure that once we'll have Elasticsearch in place for the logging use case, it will be in core. So we can wait with this move until we have Elasticsearch. When Elasticsearch is there, I want to make sure that podlog is in core. And this also means that this entire Elasticsearch effort and the solution will also be in core.
Good. Any comments, feedback?
And is this the logs that are currently available off of operations environments, or is this? I'm assuming so.
Yeah, you know any other logs that you're referring to? Any other logs besides that one?
I guess I just meant because we've just added the pod logs, operations pod logs.
Which are the same. I mean, it's the same.
Okay.
It's eventually redirect you to the same page. So yeah, I mean, both of them, which are the same.
Okay, good. Any other discussion on that topic?
I think that's good stuff. I think it'll just draw a lot more people to our auto DevOps stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I personally, I am a strong supporter of moving as many features as possible in the monitoring to core. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we have analytics around the usage of this? I can't remember.
Yes, yes. There is a small graph, which I might be able to look in quickly. So the usage around in Periscope, yeah, I have the link. I can share it with everyone. The usage around the podlog is really minimal. I think it's less than 1%. Like last month, it was like 0.7% of the users. Hold on, I need to log in in order to get the link to Periscope and approve.
Hopefully that usage should increase with the link that we added under operations, because right
this
now
is one. Yeah,
difficult to find it.
Exactly. This is one concern. The second thing is because it's ultimate. I also think that the number of people that are using it is extremely small. Yeah, so this is the link for, I'll add it to the, okay. It's in Periscope. So you can see the metrics around the environment. You see the environment is the most popular one. Afterward is the metric, no, not the metric, it's the third one. Environment number 1, the metrics number 2, and then operation settings. Yes. Yeah. This is, by the way, one of the reasons that I think the environment page is very critical and can be the point for users to interact with additional solutions within monitoring. So the infrastructure dashboard is all around the environment page. So one of the reasons is that because so many people are using it, and this would be like a great way for them to get exposed to our features.
Good. Okay. Next, I started an update to our APM Handbook. A number of teams in the ops group are going to be doing this, so I started the kind of our version of it, at least to document what we do now. I think there's probably some areas that we can improve on, but I wanted to start with this is kind of how we work today, and then it'll be easier to open MRs to change that if we ever have ideas and we want to iterate on it. So if anyone has any feedback, I'd appreciate that. We don't have to talk about it right now, but I just wanted to kind of point that out to flag it if anyone has time to look it over. Okay, so we still have some time left. Do we want to spend some time looking at either new issues that have come in or bugs or anything like that?
Yeah, so there are several, and I'm open for suggestion. We can go over the new issues, or we can go over the one that I think what will help me is to go over the issues that were moved from 12.5 to 12.6 to understand maybe we can add weights there where we can, and then we can go over the new issues or the bugs that were open recently.
Sure. So, okay. I think I'm sharing. Can people see this?
Yes.
So this is just the planning board filtered by that missed 12.5. So these are the ones that were automatically moved. So maybe we can just kind of walk through. There's 7 in this column and 1 that's already in 12.7. So we can start with that. I think there might be one security one that, oh, no, that's something different. Okay. So let's see. So Daraj or Ryan, do you have updates on this one?
Yeah, both the front end and back end MR for that are in review. So it should be done pretty soon.
Okay. And this one has a weight of 1, so that
Yeah.
seems
Yeah,
appropriate.
and the weight is accurate. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Let's open a few of these. Bear with me here. Okay. Okay, so this next one.
I've got a
David?
MR. Yeah, I've got an MR out on that. I set the weight to 0. It, in retrospect, it might ought to be 1, just because of the there's going to be some front end work that is not going to pass muster with whoever looks at it.
So this is the backend. This is the backend, right?
It's the back end and front end, required front end work to get it to, useful.
That's all in the same MR?
It's all in the same MR. I made 2 other branches. I split it up, but I don't know if, it's impossible to test it, without having it all in one MR. So maybe it should just live in one MR and get multiple reviews. I've seen both things done. So I'd ask the group, how would you rather review something? Would you rather review it all in one MR or in front end and back end split MRs? Or yes?
Well, usually the same. Sorry, go ahead, Dheeraj.
Yeah, so I think it really depends on the feature. I don't have a great answer, but sometimes it's just easier to do the back end and get that in first, and then the front end could be updated. But again, if there are too many front end changes, maybe it's better to have it as its own MR, because that would also be easy to revert such changes. Yeah, I think
They're easy to split out. So if a reviewer says split these out, I don't want to see this, it's simple to do. So we'll start with it being together and then split it if we want.
I think I link an issue. If you scroll all the way down, if I remember correctly. There is a front-end issue around it, if I remember correctly. Or maybe, no. No. So, okay, it doesn't matter. This issue is linked to the MR both for the front end and back end. That's what I guess this.
Right. There's one MR, and I've got 2 branches that are
okay.
If you look, yeah, and there's 2 branches where I split it out, but I haven't made MRs out of those. So yeah,
okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I think I saw another issue, similar issue, like same issue for the front end. Maybe it's duplication, but it's okay.
There was a front end issue that predated this issue, but there were it couldn't be, it couldn't be
labeled front end, back end. Maybe we should label it.
I labeled mine front end and back end, I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's continue on here. So the next one, So this one looks like it's in verification. So I'm assuming there's an MR that was merged. Yeah. So we'll just verify that. So the weight of 1 is probably correct. Unless anyone has any other thoughts on this one. All right, so this one doesn't have a weight yet. Panel size and
this one's really old. I don't know what to say about this one. I mean, we've talked about it. I think that ripping out all this code is the wrong way to take this.
One solution could be to just change the ordering for the new proxy API, you know.
Yeah.
So then you don't have to rip out the old code.
Yeah, I think we decided we didn't need to rip anything out in order to like rearrange based on the YAML order. But this issue's description seems like the scope is a lot larger than just that. Like this is, maybe we need to either update the issue description or turn it into an epic or something, because this is actually a really large effort here.
I mean, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it essentially says we just need to take out the ordering ability. I mean, this could easily be, the ordering could be easily changed to do that too, by just changing all the weights and priorities to the same number, and then we get the default sorting. You know, there's essentially no sorting, but
and the default sorting is just the order that it appears in the YAML file. Is that what?
I would have to verify that, but yes, that's what it should be.
Yeah, I think our goal was that just order it according to how it's placed in the YAML file, and remove the requirement for priority and weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to try to update the description so it will reflect everything.
Okay.
Give me a weight of 2 on that, or I can do it.
Sure, it might be even higher than that if we're changing how we think we wanted to go about it. A little, even though we have most of it done. So, okay.
Sorry, it's hard for me to think of weights in percentage of done instead of weight, or so yeah, percentage of done might be different.
Okay. Okay, so that's that one. Next one.
I haven't even started on this one, so it's weight of 10.
Okay. Seems correct then. I have questions about this.
There's no point in me being assigned to that and just camping out on it.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Next one. Oh, okay. Is there more design? I don't know if there was any more UX that we needed to do on this.
Yeah, you go ahead, Emilia.
There were, I think, a couple comments that came in yesterday for some tiny updates. I will make them today, and then this is ready for an email.
Okay.
Yeah, I have some questions about this issue. So first of all, I believe that it requires some backend work, especially when we are checking if configuration exists. Because if you go to the description, you go to the design, to the work in progress design, there are several scenarios: no data, timeout, and connection failure and configuration required. And I guess some of the issues here are only front end, and some involve front end and back end. Maybe we can break this issue into tiny, and you tell me if it makes sense, to break it in tiny iterations and work only on no data or timeout or connection failure, what is the easiest one to accomplish at the moment. You scroll further down,
Is-
Matt. There's another thing. Hold on, hold your thought. Go scroll further down. Wait, yes, this table. So there is the level of the chart and the level of the group. So we can also say, okay, what's more important? And we can discuss it. I think the chart level is more important than the group. And maybe also we can like say, okay, let's work on the chart level first and then think about the group level, or vice versa. If it saves work for this team.
Is there a way, do we want to have the back end, or is there a problem with the front end just blindly grabbing everything when it kind of knows it's never going to get any data from some of those things? Is there some way we need to have it back off, or say these things are not used or something?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an easy first step is exactly that, is just to basically throw up a no data thing on the group level and then kind of bring it. I mean, because if there is stuff like in the charts, we do at least have a no data state at the chart level. It's not detailed. We've discussed like adding more details to why there's no data in the chart level, but
I love that default graph that comes up there now. It's beautiful.
yeah, the default,
Yeah.
no data.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could do something similar for the group level basically, and just have it at least that way when they click on the arrow, you get there's no data to display, and then we can go into those reasons. So yeah, Dove, I think the idea is good. Let's just divide it up into smaller issues, and then it should be a quick win at least to get just a default one into the group state. That way we eliminate this confusion, because it keeps coming up. I mean, it's
Yes.
it keeps coming up. So
yeah, and it's confusing. It's very confusing. There is another one that I was thinking while I was working on this, looking into the issue, but it's probably a separate discussion, but it's kind of related. When you have no data on the graph, you cannot set up an alert, because the add more button, the more button is available only when you have charts. I'm not sure if it's by design or if it's possible just to add this and configure alerts. I'm not sure how the backend work or how the frontend work. It is capturing the metrics that are on the graph, or is doing it in a different way. But basically the question is, can we easily
Alert
add this
could
button
be.
and create alerts?
An
Yeah.
alert could be defined on that. Technically, the data doesn't have to be there for the alert to be defined and sent over.
So that means that's a front end only fix then, because you're saying, David, we already have support on the back end to do that.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
But how does it know what is the name of the metric? Because when you choose, when you create an alert, it gives you the name of the metric.
It knows.
And then you add the value. And
I mean, it had to know the name. The name of the metric is defined in the graph, not defined in the data that comes back from Prometheus. So the name of the metric should be, there in the legend of the graph. So, yeah, it's the definition is technically all there to create the alert. Now, in the case of, as we add these for custom metrics, there's no place that the user sees what that metric name would be, right? Because it would be, you would see the name of it in the legend. So you may not be able to like cut and paste your name for the custom metric for a custom metric.
Does that, maybe someone and maybe we need to investigate this a little bit too. I can't remember exactly, like, are you saying then, David, that the response comes back with each individual metric and the data set there, like we would know.
Well, you grab the metric and all the metric ID and all that kind of stuff from the dashboard information that comes
Mhm.
back over that defines all of the graphs. And as far as I know, that is what's used for creating the alert
Okay.
in the back end. And so yeah, that's what's there. There's an ID there of the alert. I mean, of the metric and just a operator and a value. It would be hard to know what value you wanted, if there was no data there, if it should be 100 or 5 or
Okay.
-10 or something. Yeah.
I think what I'm getting from this then is this is like adding that more button is a separate issue, I think, from even this. We'll just need to create its own issue and then get it scheduled up. And I think it should be front end only from the sound of it.
Yeah, agreed. It needs to be
Okay.
it's a separate issue, and I'll open the separate issue. I thought about it today.
Okay. Also for this issue that we're looking at, should we even have the MIS 12.5 label, because it was clearly not ready for development in 12.5, and we did not miss 12.5, right?
Yeah, it's a design issue. It's not. I mean, from that we need to open separate issues and schedule it for the milestone. We can say it's complete, okay, if we track that somewhere, because from that I think we should open additional issues, or maybe promote it to an epic, and either way is fine for me.
I think the missed label is added by a bot, I think. So it's
yeah, it automatically added. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So we have actions on that one. Then this is the last one I was a little confused about when I saw this one. I don't know if anyone else has more information about this, but. Oh, that's right. This is the community contribution one. Is anyone? I think
Looks
there's
like there's an MR, yeah,
yeah.
an MR on that one.
Okay. So do we need, I don't even know if this is. I haven't looked at this one that closely. So we might just need someone to help kind of push this one through on our side too.
I don't think that's a community AMR. At least the person assigned seems to be, or the author is a community person. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, yeah, so maybe someone on the back end team can, I think this is back end work. Can just, oh, that's, okay. Well, maybe someone can help kind of shepherd this through and help guide this community person, because it'd be great to get some more community contributions in here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think those are all the issues that were moved that are still in 12.6. This one, this other one was a missed 12.5, but it's already moved over to 12.7.
Yeah, I moved it.
So I don't know if there's much else we need to do on this one.
No. Let's, yeah, we have enough on our plate. And
okay. Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts about the missed 12.5? I think, yeah, never mind. Forgot what I was going to say. All right. So then, are there any other issues that we want to kind of look over? Or running short on time. We'll have a few minutes left, so need to
New
be
issue.
aware of that. If not, then I'll call it there, I guess. And so thank you, everyone, and have a good, yeah.
Do we want to go through newly opened bugs?
Yeah.
We have 5 minutes. The question is, do we have enough time to I mean, we can look at probably one or two.
Sure. Yeah, let's, let me pull it up here. So at least see what we're dealing with. I'll share my screen. Okay. So let me, let's see. Do this the right way. Oh yeah, okay. It was sorted right, and then I did it the wrong way. Okay, so we could look at the last few at least, once this refreshes, there we go. I mean, the last week there were 15 or so. I don't know if there's any that we want to, there's one security one in here that we won't talk about. This one, Raj, you open this one. We could just start and go through the first few on the list, I guess, and we'll just kind of review those, and then we can, that'll have to be it. So this first one.
I think there's regression. So when you open the dashboard and you open the date time picker, you'll see that the default 8 hours is selected, and also the from and to text inputs are also filled, but that should not be the case.
Okay.
So it should be pretty straightforward fix.
Okay. Skip that one.
We'll probably have to make this video private because
Just because the title was in there.
the title is pretty descriptive. So
yeah, okay. I can do that. That's fine. This is, we talked about this one already.
We talked about it. Yeah, we talked about this.
Jump to this one. I don't know if anyone's looked at this one.
This is a bit weird. Yeah, there is an example project. So the other day, I think Victor passed it on the Slack channel and ask for help.
Yeah.
This is for the serverless project.
All right.
Okay. I think it's clear enough information between it.
We'll just do like one or two more here, and then we'll be up on time.
We don't need this one. That's a research issue.
Okay.
What's this?
He'll open this one. So just the documentation. It's assigned to Axel. Oh, I think this is a documentation issue. And it looks like there's already a MR for it. So
okay,
that's good. And then we'll skip the triage report. And then we'll look at this last one, and then we'll call it.
Yeah, that's we talked about it. The escape hatch for moving from Elasticsearch to Kubernetes API. Yeah, I pushed it toward 12.8. Maybe we'll just discard it, that one kind of thing. They're thinking about the solution, but anyways.
Okay. Yeah, because this was the problem that if you have Elasticsearch, you're only be able to see Elasticsearch logs, but if there's some problem with that, you want to be able to get back to this.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think we'll have to call it there. So thank you, everyone, and yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Thanks. Bye.